Hello, Pisces. Thank you so much for joining me again. So as always, before we get started, we're going to take a look at your oracle cards. And Pisces, this week from Le Vampire, you pulled natural, authentic, real, and organic. And then from Chakra Wisdom, you pulled instinct. Now, natural from Le Vampire is one of my favorite cards. This card is saying that there may have been an over-reliance on ways of identifying who you are, whether that's by your job, your appearance, your personality, your wealth. Whatever it is, it's time to go beyond that now to who you truly are and know yourself from the inside out. And then when you look at that with instinct from Chakra Wisdom, this card is basically saying that spirit is leading you there now to a spot where it's time to become who you really are. This card is saying that your instincts are finely tuned, so why doubt them? But I think for a lot of you, spirit is leading you into a spot now where there isn't a need to identify yourself by things of the material, because what you are is a spiritual being. All right, Pisces, here we go. Here is the energy coming through. The Five of Pentacles. So for some of you, you may be experiencing difficult times right now. The Five of Pentacles can suggest some financial difficulties at that. The big thing here, though, when I see this card, the reminder here is that you can get yourself out of these situations. It may be difficult to see right now. There may also be a feeling here of rejection. And in the past, the Six of Wands. So seeing that as the past coming through, you know, I just looking at the two, I get the sense here that for some of you, you were being recognized for what you were doing, and then all of a sudden it just shifted. It's like some of you may have lost that recognition that you were getting from people because of what you were doing, because the Six of Wands is victory, right? Victory over adversity. But you pulling this as the energy from the past can also suggest here that you're carrying it through to help you out of these difficult situations. But when I look at it in terms of people and being recognized by people, and then seeing the Five of Pentacles, you know, again, being left out in the cold, there's a feeling of rejection there. And in the present, the Eight of Wands, energy is going to start moving really fast around you. You will know when it is the right time for you to act. But this is also talking about communication. Communication for some of you. And I'm looking at that Five of Pentacles and going, where did this cause this financial strain or this feeling of rejection here? You know, for some of you, I wonder if you're not hearing back from somebody. Like communication between you and a person just like stopped abruptly. Future conditions, the Two of Wands. I like the Two of Wands. There isn't a whole lot of action being taken here. This is more about you making those decisions, and then you start seeing it put into action with the Three. But it's like being at a crossroads here. But really, there is a need for you to decide what it is that you want and start taking action toward it. But, you know, here it's like you're thinking about it and you're laying down those plans to start taking action here to get yourself out of this situation. But I feel like it's involving another person. And I think for some of you, communication just like abruptly stopped. But you're still wanting to move forward here with the Two of Wands. I just think for some of you, you're not quite sure just yet which way to go. But with the Eight of Wands being above that and being present conditions, I really think that you will know when it is the right time for you to act. But I still feel like this has to do with you communicating with somebody and it being cut off at some point. Your best path to follow, the Four of Pentacles. So be a little bit selfish here with the things that you have. Seeing this as your best path to follow is talking about creating some financial stability in your life. If some of you have made some bad decisions involving your own financial stability because of whatever was coming through here with the Six of Wands, you know, there's this excited energy happening. And I wonder if somebody wasn't saying, hey, you know, if you put your money into this and blah, 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 and then you felt this strain. The Four of Pentacles is saying, no, you need to hang on to what you have now and be careful about the decisions that you make in regards to your finances. Don't let people talk you into spending money on things that, you know, are not really going to make you feel better about who you are. That comes from within. You know, again, when you're looking back at natural, right? I think somebody has like a really different idea of who you are. And I think for some of you, you made some bad decisions because of the communications you were having with this person. The Four of Pentacles is saying now it's time to get a little bit more control here and start getting that stable foundation, you know. And certainly don't hang on to this either. You don't want to keep your focus on this feeling of strain and difficult situations. In your environment, death, look at it. Look at it. Yes. The old way of being is done now. I'm looking at it, and you know, with what you're pulling here with natural, I think some of you were wearing a mask here because you were wanting recognition from other people. And it didn't quite happen the way that you expected it to. But death in your environment is saying that you are changing yourself now. The old way of being, the old way of doing things is dead now. It's done. It's over with. This is a change that's happening for you. And looking at it in your environment and seeing the Two of Wands, and then where you have the Four of Pentacles here, I think you start to shift this energy and start getting yourself out of difficult situations. But it's going to be through the changes that you go through, where you're not so much concerned about what other people think about you anymore. And you start doing what is right for you. Your hopes and your fears, the Four of Swords. So here's the thing, when you're looking at it there and then you're looking at the Two of Wands, I mean, even coming across here again, if I think for some of you, you know, I kind of get the feeling here that you were being recognized by somebody who really didn't care about you or what happened to you, because otherwise the Five of Pentacles wouldn't be sitting there. You know, the Six can definitely suggest you getting victory over these issues. Absolutely. But I'm looking at the sequence of events here connected with the Five where, you know, maybe some of you are getting some recognition here and there was some communication that abruptly stopped. And I think it's because you weren't really being true to yourself. And then seeing death and then coming into the Four of Swords. The Four of Swords is the break. It's taking that rest. It's recuperating after battle, right? But there's also a lot of thinking going on here too. There's a lot of reflecting. And I think for some of you, you're reflecting on your past actions, which is why death is sitting in your environment. There needs to be a change here with the way that you are when it comes to not only your finances, but how you act toward like false recognition, I think is the best way to put it. Because clearly, whoever you're communicating with does not know who you are. And things start to change really quick. It's like, I almost get the sense here that they may have their own ideas of what they think you are, but that is not what you truly are. I don't know why I'm getting that from this. Looking at that Eight of Wands, I'm seeing you communicating with somebody who recognized you for something. But it's false here with the Five of Pentacles, and you may have made some bad decisions, and it may have to do with money. And now things start changing here where you're really thinking about, okay, I need to change my actions. Something in my life needs to change. What is it that I need to do? What is the right path to take here to get back to this kind of stability that I need in my life? But, you know, again, with the Four of Swords, be careful where your thoughts are, because really it needs to be here with this Two of Wands and making these decisions on what action to start taking here to get out of this difficulty. And then your outcome, the Knight of Cups, I'm telling you. Now, seeing this as the outcome for you guys, this could definitely represent you. Absolutely. The problem with the Knight of Cups is that when you are following your heart, there is the worry here about being led astray by other people who have different ideas of who you are and them not really understanding who you are. And I really don't think that, I mean, for some of you, it may be the case where, you know, you're giving off like this false projection in the past. Things start to change here. But I think for some of you, it's just that I have this feeling here that the people that you're communicating with don't really want to know who you are, is almost what it feels like. The Knight of Cups, though, being the outcome, if you're looking at that, you know, away from this being your own energy, I would be careful about any kind of offers that anybody makes to you, whether it has to do with love or money. Think about what you need to do to create your own stability before you accept any offers from anybody, because I think that they have no clue who you truly are. And, you know, I got this feeling here that some of you may be being led astray by somebody. You know, if you are dealing with some extreme financial loss here and suffering, I would expect to see different pentacles. I just think that somebody might be taking you for a ride, basically. And there's a need here for you to get control over this and start getting some stability back. Not only with, you know, your emotions, but with the practical things in your life as well, including your money. I would just be careful, Pisces. I would be careful about anybody offering you anything. And if they are going to offer you something, if you do accept it, make sure that this person knows you, or that they actually give a shit about wanting to know who you are first. All right, Pisces, we're going to take a look at the soul trees to see what other messages there are for you guys. But I don't know. I get this feeling around this, that this has to do with you communicating with somebody who may be trying to lead you astray. And it's going to leave you in a spot where you're going to feel some strain, whether it's financial, emotional. I don't like that the Five of Pentacles is sitting there, and I really do think that these are outside influences, and you need to be careful here about what action you do decide to start taking here. I think these are the right actions to take, which is no action. Thinking about what is the best path to take for you to create stability in your life. And again, Death is saying things have got to change. And acceptance. Here's the thing. When you're looking at resistance, you can't expect anything to change for you if you're resisting the major changes that need to happen. When you're looking at passion, it's so understandable here because, you know, I think you're getting some recognition. I just think that you need to be careful who you're getting it from here, seeing the Five of Pentacles. It's important that you're allowing that kind of passion for somebody who actually gives a shit about who you are. I think that's the important thing here. Acceptance. This is saying that you need to accept the beautiful things that come into your life. Accept the gifts that are offered to you. But I think for some of you here, there needs to be an acceptance when it comes to changing your passions and stop resisting that change. All right, Pisces, we're going to take a look at the romance angels to see what is going on for you guys in love. I mean, you know, for some of you, this could definitely be somebody coming in with some emotional backing that may be helping you get out of financial difficulties as well. Totally a possibility, but I do think that for some of you, you have to be careful about what's being offered because you don't want to end up feeling rejection later on. And make sure that this person gives a shit about who you are. That should be like the title for this video. Pisces, make sure that they give a shit about you and who you truly are. Very soon. Clearly decide what you want so that it comes to you now. So now, for some of you, if you are in a relationship, very soon is saying that things in your relationship are going to change very soon. And it could have to do with the changes that are going on with you and bringing some passion into the relationship. But when you clearly decide what you want from a relationship, that is what you will manifest. There is a part of this reading, Pisces, that I worry about just because of the Five of Pentacles being there, and it may be the case for some of you. But on the other hand, you know, this could be a really positive thing that's coming into your life. I just think that the most important thing here is that you really think about the actions that you take first. Don't allow yourself to be led astray by people who may not truly want to know who you are. The other part is, too, that if you're dealing with some difficulties, for some of you, this may actually be somebody coming through, and it could be a Scorp coming through to help you and to offer you something that is going to bring you some happiness. Either way, the most important thing here for Pisces is to really be who you are. And don't be something that you're not, because you are a spiritual being. Okay, Pisces, so there's a couple of different ways to look at this reading here. I think for some of you, you may be facing some financial difficulties. The Four of Pentacles is saying that we need to get control over our finances here. But I think some of you are being recognized by somebody and you're communicating with them. And it's like, because of the difficulties that you're facing, you may be trying to decide here what is the best thing to do about this situation, because you've faced rejection and difficulties before. And it's like you're thinking about it. You're really thinking about not only what action to take in the future, but you're looking at your past actions, and that is where death is starting to come in here. Something needs to change before you start proceeding forward on, the actions that you are wanting to take here with the Two of Wands. Whatever decision you make, you have to change, and you can't resist that kind of change. But then the other part here too is looking at these two. To me, some of you may be dealing with a Scorpio. Now, on the other hand, seeing the Knight of Cups coming out, this could be somebody that is offering you something that you may be hesitant to accept because of the difficulties that you faced before. Now, on the other hand, for some of you, what bothers me about this reading is the Five of Pentacles being here and then seeing natural. If you're communicating with somebody because they're recognizing you, and it could be through like social media or whatever, I think that they don't truly know who you are. And I would be careful here with the Knight of Cups being the outcome if that is the case, because this is being led astray by others. You want to be careful about accepting any offers. And I think the big thing here, and I keep feeling it, it's so important that the people that you're meeting want to know who you are. It's one thing for you to naturally be who you are, but it's another thing here for people to actually see who you truly are and not define you by the things that you have, because you're a spiritual being. Now, when you look at acceptance and passion, I think for some of you, this actually might be a case of accepting an offer that may be coming through here to give you some happiness. But I think your focus may be on the rejection that you may have faced in the past. There are different ways to look at this. Overall, I think that you're going to do the right thing between the Four of Swords and the Two of Wands. I would just be careful, because Spirit is saying here that there is a need for some stability. Not just with you emotionally, but it seems to be more material than anything else here with the Four of Pentacles. The other thing too is when it comes to resisting change, you got to let go of that so that you can go through that cycle and be the phoenix rising from the ashes here, so that these situations happen a little bit more differently for you than accepting an offer from somebody that's going to lead you down a path that you don't want to be down. Now, when you look at what you guys are going through in love, attraction, I really do think that this is going back to natural. When you start acting the way that you are naturally, you become more attractive to the other person. But seeing this for singles is fantastic, especially if you're meeting somebody new, and definitely enjoy the moment fully. And then for those of you who are in a relationship very soon, when you start setting those ideas into motion with the Two of Wands when it comes to your relationships, those are the things that you will start to see manifest. And I think for some of you, you are clearly deciding what is important to you and what you want to see within a relationship. This one's got me a little bit here, Pisces, but I think you're going to be fine. I think for some of you, if you are receiving offers, you may be holding yourself back a little bit because of that energy of the Five of Pentacles. But, overall, seeing the Six of Wands, even the Eight of Wands and the Two, you're going to do the right thing when it comes to following your own passions.